Brothers and sisters, our today's subject is all engrossing. Engrossing. That is, to die is not to die. That is the subject given. And the right way of understanding what we call death and making the right type of preparation, not to die, but to pass through what we call death to a stage which is beyond. There is much literature about death in the world. Every nation has its own scripture. Every scripture has its own literature about death and life beyond death. And there is no one in this world who is not conditioned by the idea of death. There are people who are not conditioned by the idea of birth, because at the time of birth no one knows that he is born. He is not grown up enough to think that there is something like birth. But everyone who is grown up has an idea of death. Sometimes it works in a positive direction to produce a world teacher like Gautama the Buddha. He was kept in ignorance about death since childhood. And after a certain age, suddenly he could understand that there was death. That gave him such a shock that he began to search for the real path of man, and he could bring enlightenment to humanity. But everyone cannot be a Buddha. Everyone has his own or her own ideas about death. Often they are not true, and neither they are scientific. In many cases they are emotional and sentimental, and in majority of the cases a fear of death exists in the bottommost layer of consciousness, without removing which one cannot experience happiness in its true sense. Those who are experiencing happiness, they are experiencing in their own way, because they are all death conditioned in the bottom of their consciousness. Almost everyone says to himself, as he is growing in age, before I die, I should earn good fortune. Before I die, I should have a big house. Before I die, I should clear off all my debts. Before I die, I should prepare everything good for my wife. Before I die, I should perform the marriage of my children. So, in many minds, there is the idea, before I die, before I die. Whether he utters it vocally or not, whether he feels it distinctly on the mental plane or not, by birth everyone is death conditioned. All the actions and the activity tend towards a wall, believing that they should stop at a wall where there is a dead end. And until this wall is removed or a gate is prepared in the wall, no one can boast of experiencing happiness. Because when the bottommost layer of consciousness is death conditioned, how can one be happy? There is a little story in the scriptures about death. A son was observing his father doing a holy sacrifice, and the father was distributing all his treasures to people who came to him, because he took it as his sacred duty in the sacrifice. The son was very young, about 5 years old, and asked his father, "Father, you are giving everything to others." He said, "Yes, this is my austerity. So says my sacrifice." Then the son asked, "Do you give away everything that belongs to you?" The father said, "Why?" Then the son asked, "Do you give me away to someone also?" Then the father was in hesitation. For a few minutes he hesitated and then answered, "Why?" And then the son asked, to whom do you propose to give me? The father had no ready reply. He was thinking, and it took a few minutes for him to reply. In the meanwhile, the son asked the father thrice the same question, and then the father got irritated and said, yes, I will give you to the Lord of Death. Then the son smiled and said, Father, when do you give me to him? Father said, wait. Son said, I cannot wait. I want to approach the Lord of Death and know how death occurs. What death is. It is there. I demand that you immediately give me away to the Lord of Death. Saying so, the son said, I take it for granted that you have given me away to death. I am going. Saying so, he went away. Straight he went to the Lord of Death, and he entered into the city of death. Of course, the story is symbolic. I will explain what it is. He entered into the city of death and inquired about the Lord of Death. In Sanskrit, the Lord of Death is called Yama. The secret lies that the first step of yoga is also the same fellow. I told you there are 8 steps in yoga. The first is Yama, which means regulation of life activity. The story means that death occurs to give us regulation. Then we can ask, if death gives us regulation, when are we to live and regulate ourselves? Then the answer is, birth follows death, and a better body is given next time. Whenever we spoil our constitution with our ill behavior, there is disease, old age, decay and death. Death is there because it wants to give us again a tender, beautiful body. Just as after 5 or 6 years we throw the old car in the junk to purchase a new car, death exists in nature to give a new opportunity with a better body again to practice regulation. So the Lord of Death is what is called the process of regulation. The fellow directly went to the city of death. Here the word death means change. Can you understand any minute in your life that has no change? We believe that the blood and flesh and bones in our body are there continuously. We believe that they are ours. My wife believes this is my hand, but we are happy in our mind because we are foolish not to understand that everything is changing every moment. If we remember that every second the atoms in the body are going out and new atoms are entering, immediately we understand that this is not our body. And the wife immediately understands that there is nothing like her husband's hand, because every moment things are going away and coming in. It is very difficult to understand the speed of the matter in our body. Unless there is that speed of change of matter, we have no possibility to live on this earth. We are living here because matter is changing in the body. Every day we are eating and drinking, all the matter is going out again, and every day, every few seconds we are breathing in air, but breathing out air also. And we cannot claim that the air in the lungs is ours. But if we are asked to utter our name, we have to utter only with the same air and breath and voice. See the ridiculous part of it. We have to utter our name with the air which is not ourselves, which is not inside. It is coming in and going out, but yet we say myself. So the idea of myself is only an idea, and there is nothing in the material aspect of the body. So this understanding is called the gateway of death, and also the city of the Lord of Death. But it is kept in darkness because many of us are not yet prepared to remember it. Even though we understand it, we are inclined to forget about it, and live in this world believing that the kgs weight in our body is constant. For example, the earth is going around the sun at a tremendous speed and going around itself also with a great speed. We know it, but we are inclined to believe that the earth is stable and we want to stand on this earth stable. Without this idea, we cannot lead our life on this earth because we are habituated to earth life and we are not yet habituated to the finer life which is more true. Similarly, the same with this body also. We are habituated to believe that this body is constant and we are inclined to believe that it is our abode. So we live in it and we believe in its existence. Not only that, we do many things on the basis that we live in this body. We marry our partner believing that we live in this body for a long time. We begin to build our house believing that we live for a long time in that house. Unless we have this belief, we cannot live in this world and do things. But yet, in a layer of mind, we know that this is not true. There is an eternal existence in which all these changes are taking place. There is a background on which the worlds are coming and going. So the boy straight went into that city and he inquired about the Lord of Death, and his officers told him that he was very busy for 3 days and the boy was asked to wait. That means that our existence is threefold: matter, force and mind. The boy was asked to understand the 3 layers of existence. So he was asked to wait for 3 days because the Lord of Death was very busy. So he waited and then the Lord came and said, "Boy, how do you do? Are you not afraid of me?" And the boy said, "Bujo," and smiled. And he said, "What do you want?" Then the boy asked him, "What is there in that room?" The door is open, but nothing is being seen. Everything was dark. Then Yama said, "It is called a dark room. It is called the room of death." The boy asked, I came all the way here to know what there is in that room." And Yama said, "It is very dangerous. Don't question about it. All the people in this world, they are afraid of that darkness. You are a little boy. There is much career for you still. Great future. Therefore, don't question about that darkness. You can question me about any branch of learning. You can question me about soul, about God, about creation, about sun and moon, about astronomy, astrology, any science, any arts, but don't question about that darkness. That is called death. People enter into it and no one knows what happens. I am taking care of this room. Except myself, no one knows what is there inside." Then the boy stood in adoration of Yama and said, "For this very same reason I came to you. There is no one in this world who knows what is there in that room. You are the only one who knows it. That's why I take you as my master, who can teach me what is there inside." Then Yama was in trouble. He said, "Till now nobody questioned about it. There are many fine things in life, you can question about them. For example, you ask me what is marriage, I will tell you. You will ask me what is childbirth, I will tell you. You will ask me what is sex life, I will tell you. You ask me what is supper and dinner, I can explain you." Then he said, "Only for this purpose I came here. And I have already decided you as my master. I hope masters do not disappoint disciples." And then Yama said, "You know that there are rulers and administrators in this world. I will send you into the world as a great ruler and administrator for 100 years. Don't question about it." Then the boy said, "What happens after 100 years?" Then he said, "Death." Then the boy said, that's why I am questioning about it. Then Yama said, I'll give you 1,000 years. And the boy asked, what happens after 1,000 years? Then Yama said, I'll give you 10,000 years. Then he said, what after that? Then Yama was sweating. He had no answer. And the boy smiled, therefore you tell me what it is. Then Yama said, you are the one disciple who deserves initiation into that dark room. It is not to discourage you that I talked all these things. It is only to find out if you stop in the middle and go away or not. Because people live in this world to know many things, to do many things, to discover many things, to achieve many things. Foolish fellows, they die in their attempts. So they forget about their journey. They are attracted by many valuable things in this world. They are engrossed in their own plans which are very, very valuable. Some of them are engrossed in their wife and children. Many of them are foolish enough to get engrossed in their ideals. They create their own ideals and they die, and their mind dies with their body and their ideals die with their mind. So many people do not pursue the thing. They do not try to understand life from birth to death. They do not have the awareness of existence. The fellow who has a continuous awareness of his own existence is the only fellow who can know what is there in the dark room. And he said, I will take you into that room. And he made him cross the arch of that room. On the top of the door there was the picture of a skeleton, a skull, and then the words death. And then a dagger was falling and rising to cut the neck of any fellow who puts his head there. Then the Yama said, put your head. The boy put his head and the dagger stopped there. And then Yama said, come on, look here, the dagger stopped. It stops for those who do not fear. It inevitably cuts the necks of those who do not want death. That's why it is cutting the necks of millions and millions of fellows who come to this earth. But with your neck, it stopped there. That means you can enter. Come on, come inside. He took in. There was nothing there in the room. It was only empty space. And he took into the room and asked the boy to look at the same gate from inside. There was the picture of a room where maternity is being conducted.
Yes.
And a lady having labor pains, a child being born and crying, people taking the child into their hands and smiling that there is a child. He said, it is the same gate which is called birth from the other side. So, through this gate, people cross. But because they fear this gate, they become unconscious before they touch the gate. And then when they wake up as children in the next birth. This is the gate which I am asked to look after. And you are the first one who could know it. And then he taught the boy many things, of course. Now we are concerned only with this particular aspect. To know about this in the right way, I will give you a little example. There was a big circus tent where circus was being played every evening. Many lions, tigers, elephants and horses, many persons were there. We went to the circus in Geneva. We enjoyed the play. After 6 months, we went to Paris. We saw the same circus in Paris. We went to see the circus. We saw the same animals, same persons, and the same fellow issuing the tickets, and the same fellow who is tearing the tickets, and the same fellow with a big wart on his face, showing us seats where to go and sit. How could the same fellow come to Paris? So, there is a group of people who tour from place to place. They have some animals with them. They have some servants with them. They have some material to erect the tent with them. So when they complete the circus in Geneva, when they go to another place, what is the procedure they follow? Do they take the whole tent as it is from Geneva to Paris? They will pull everything from the earth. They will fold all the tents together. They make it convenient to take a journey, and they throw the animals into the cages, and they have their own way of doing things. And we cannot see how they traveled from Geneva to Paris. We can see the performance in Geneva if we purchase a ticket. We can see the same performance in Paris by purchasing a ticket, but we can't observe how they traveled from Geneva to Paris unless we begin to travel with them. Compare our life with a circus tent with many fellows working inside, whom we call the devas, that is the angels and the archangels, who are doing their duties in the body. And after the circus is finished in this town, they take what is all necessary from this and they travel to another place. We cannot see how they travel because we care only to purchase a ticket and see the performance. We have not yet proposed to join the circus company. Unless we join as one of the members of the circus company, we cannot know how the whole journey takes place. We cannot know how the shift occurs. When they go, do they take the sand and the earth and the clay from Geneva to Paris? No, because sand and earth are available in Paris also. After all, there will be some difference in color of sand and earth. So, the minerals of the body are not carried from birth to birth. The minerals are left there, which we call the corpse. It is busy in its process of decomposition. We wrongly call it decomposition, but the minerals are being replaced to their original places. They are temporarily borrowed to serve the purpose of the soil of circus. And again, in another place, some group of minerals are selected and they are being attracted into the mother's womb, and this body is being constructed. It is only a matter of color difference from race to race and from nation to nation. Just as there is color difference between the soil of Geneva and the soil of Paris, but the same fellows are conducting the same circus, you will find the continuity of circus. Similarly, you will find the continuity of life from birth to birth. There are things that are left away and there are things that are taken, and because we can see the things that are left away, we cannot call it a change, we cannot call it a shift from one place to another, we call it death, and we understand it as a total end of things. This is one aspect of it.